There we go. We're live. Look at that.
We're live.
Please get this centered on me. Yeah, this is the workshop, episode 380. Welcome to it. Welcome, spectators, audience members, whatever you want. This show is basically we have a group of comedians, and we get random topics prior to the show. Then we try to write 3 to 5 minutes on said topics, and then we perform it for each other. And you, the audience out there, and you guys get to say things. If you write down your little comment thing, I will read them aloud, no matter how bad they are. I will just pretty them up a bit. But yeah, no, it's a lot of fun doing the show. After that, we give a bit of a critique on each other, or like input. We try to give some riffs and some tags for each other. We got another guy coming in soon, Glenn. He's having some connection problems. But let's introduce people. Let's go through all this stuff, and we'll do a little more talking after. So, Robert, we know each other. You're from Vancouver.
Yeah, right out of Vancouver. Yeah. I'm probably the oldest comic. I got into it pretty late. Like it's a second career, but correct me if I'm wrong, but careers are supposed to pay money. This one only pays in alcohol.
There's money in my book. It's yeah. We got a fan for you already there. We got Facebook user, woo, Vancouver. I got to say it the way I say it there. You know, it's a lot of fun. Well, welcome, Robert. How about you, Lucy? Oh, where are you from?
I'm from Victoria, so across the water from Robert. Yeah.
It's nice, Victoria.
Pardon me?
It's nice over there.
It is.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, very walkable. Maybe it doesn't look like I'm walking very much, but it is that way anyway. Walkability scores on the real estate listings, you know.
I'd have to see your calves to know how much you've been walking. That's really the testament of everything, you know.
You see my what?
Calves. Everybody's calves.
Oh, yeah, you see some really firm ones.
Yeah.
Interesting that you mentioned calves, actually. You might notice later. Little tease there for something to come. Yeah, just happened to mention calves. So anyway.
We got some people here. So here's our Facebook user. I stalk all the comics here and have never seen you love. So is anybody first timer? Are you a first timer this week, Lucy? Have you done this before, Lucia?
I've been in the comedy workshop before, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. We got this thing, woo, BC represent.
Right. No doubt.
There you go. It's never too late. I'm 68 years old and going strong. That one's for you, Robert.
Yeah, that's encouraging.
And this one's from Doris. She's Doris. So thank you, Doris, for watching. And the other people, hey, that's awesome. So, yeah. So this is actually quite a fun. So a couple announcements I'll have to do. My name's Keller Reeves. I'm from, I live in Chilliwack, which is outside Vancouver by about an hour and a half. And like I always say, Chilliwack's a great place to be if you don't mind long, sad drives home from Vancouver. You know what I mean? Lonely, sad drives back from Vancouver. That's the way it works. But yeah, what it is, it was a comedy thing here. I got to announce that this is a safe space, okay, and that means it's safe for us comedians and not necessarily for you audience members. You know, so it basically just means that we're trying to be funny. It's all intent to be funny. If something comes across around you know, write to Scart Porteous. Don't write to us, okay? No bad comments. No. Yeah. Oh, here's one here. Sarah K. White. Thank you for watching. Oh wow, literally all BC love it. Chilliwack just reminds me of a single meth mom, some feces. What?
Ouch.
Yeah, we're getting rid of all the single moms though. They've been dying off because of meth.
But you'll never get rid of the feces.
No. It's the foundation behind, you know, good corn.
It's just cow feces, isn't it?
Yeah, just spraying on corn. That's why it tastes so good, you know. So,
anyway. I like corn. Chilliwack known for its corn.
Yeah. Okay, so like I don't normally time anybody. Just so you guys know, if you want me to, I will, and sometimes I will just for the sake of the show's going along. But all I'm doing is going to show you the time like this. I'll just put it up there. I'm not telling you to get off stage. I just want you to know where you are, sort of thing. It's no big deal. So, all right, it's pretty fun. We can have some fun here, right? So,
yeah.
As I was telling everybody else, this is the fun part. I get to go first. That's the way this shop works. I always get to go first. It's my little show, not my show entirely, but my little hosting Monday nights, and that's what I like to do. So I get to go first because, like, when I bomb badly, like I usually do, nobody can be as bad as me. So it's always an uphill battle from then on. You know, it's always a lot of fun. So let me set my little timer here for me. Stopwatch. There we go. Okay, everybody. My subject is slasher films. Oh, I didn't introduce myself. Okay, too late. Never mind. Okay, I'm not really into slasher films too much. You know, like I watch them, but I'm not into them because, like, you know, if I if I want to be scared more often than I already am, then I just need to look at my bank account. I don't. Here we go. We got another guy. Welcome, Glenn.
Hey, Glenn.
Hello, finally got on. I don't know what the hell's going on over here, but
Nice and clear. Coming in nice and clear.
well, it took me forever to get on. My computer was just like slower than molasses right now. So
Mm.
No problem. Well, sorry, Glenn. I'm just in the middle of my little thing here. I'm doing slasher films, so I'll continue.
okay, no worries.
I'll get to you in a second. Don't worry. Listen, I've watched a lot of zombie movies. That's just the facts. Okay, I've watched so many zombie movies. And I'm pretty. I'm not to boast here, but I'm pretty capable in a zombie apocalypse. I think I can handle stuff. I'm pretty. You know, I just have it all planned out. I just, every scenario from all the films I've watched, and I pretty much know my last words. If it is zombie apocalypse, I'm gonna be like, "Hey, you can't do that," and that's pretty much gonna be my last words because like the way to kill me is like if a zombie has to do something unusual, like it has to do a backflip or something like that, you know. That's see something like hang glide in, like I'm like, hey, you can't do that, like you're not supposed to do that, and it's just something weird, like coming in like slalom skiing or something like that. It's got to be something weird, like that's the only way it's gonna get me, sort of thing. But like, I'm pretty definitive. Like I'd be pretty good, like like. I've lost my place and I can't remember what I was saying. That's just the way it works sometimes. That's the fun part of this thing. You just kind of mess up. You try to go through new stuff. So, like, let's go with slasher films. Okay, listen. My favorite slasher film is Army of Darkness. That's pretty much what it is. I don't know if you guys know what that is. It's the third movie in a Evil Dead trilogy. I'll just sum it up. Basically, I think it's fucking hilarious. So it's just zombies are chasing Ash through this whole movie. And at one point, one of them gets inside of him, and he grows a growth, which turns out to be him again too. Okay, and I'm just trying to get to it. Basically, he kills his own self and buries him, but he's not dead. And in the movie, the funniest part of the movie is this: he's digging a hole to bury the guy, and the guy's yelling obscenities, and I understand it because I hear that every time I get off stage. The same way he's talking, like, "You'll never get it. You're horrible. You're a piece of shit," basically. And he goes, "Hey, what's that in your face?" And he just goes, "Huh?" And he throws dirt in his face. I thought it was the funniest thing in the world, still in a slasher movie ever, a comedic stop thing. And I started doing it on my own with beer. If you wrote, this is a great thing to do in like bars, wherever you want. Especially with your friends. I do it to my friends all the time. They're telling some kind of bad story. I just look at them and go, "Hey, what's that in your face?" And they go, "Huh?" They always do that dog look. You know, a dog's confused, but huh? And then you just hit them with a beer in their face, just right in the eyes. And it's like, it's always my favorite thing to do because it's they can't help but laugh. I can't help but laugh. They do it to me. I do it to them. And the most famous part of this, we're wrestling around, fighting each other and laughing. And this one guy comes up, this guy named Fridge. He's a rugby guy. And he split us up and he goes, "Hey, guys, you guys, you're friends, man. You shouldn't be doing this, you're friends." And then we hit him with a beer in the face, and we ran off stage and ran off the deck. And that's pretty much going sideways the way it works. Like I said, it's I am the worst one usually on these things. It's been going that way. Slasher films, Machete. Have you seen that one? Machete, the movie. Nobody?
Yeah, I think I've seen that.
Which one?
Machete. Machete.
Danny Trejo.
Oh, Machete. Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much resetted the way I say machete from now on. It's always machete from now on.
Machete.
Just walk around, "Hey, look at that, it's a machete." And everybody looks at you weird. This was a hard subject for me, so I think I'm going to end it there.
But if you're going to say it that way, if you say machete, then you also have to say chile.
And karate.
Yeah. Yeah.
But karate is karate.
Karate, chile.
Karate is karate, so it doesn't matter.
I don't know. Everything with a T is Tay to me now from now on.
Tay, yeah. Have some Tay.
You know?
Exactly.
Like
No coffee, just get some Tay.
It's a Canadian thing to send everything with A's like that. Yeah, it's funny. Okay, well, hey, let me have it, Robert Maher. What did you think?
It's a load of crap. No, just I don't know. I'm not a big fan of slasher films either. They just don't, for me, it doesn't make any sense, man. They just don't go in that door, and they go in the door and they get their head chopped off. And it's always the pretty blonde that gets killed first,
Yeah.
Or the people, it's always that, or the people that are making out, because it's always a morality tale, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, don't make out when there's a monster lurking in nearby, It's like, yeah, I don't get it. I totally don't get it. It's not an easy topic. I don't even know how I would start with it. But I like your zombie apocalypse thing, because we're going to have one. It's coming. It's after the COVID.
Yeah, I'm not
COVID
scared.
2.0. I'm just kidding. I don't even know. But yeah, you've got all the scenarios worked out, so that's all good.
Cool. Well, thank you, Robert. Appreciate it. How about you, Lucia? Do you have anything for me?
Yeah. So I have a question. Do you consider zombie movies as being in the slasher film genre?
Well, here, how about this? I have a bad habit, if people know me and watch me, to maybe a good habit. I'm not sure if it's a good one, but when I take a subject, I just go with it the best way I can all the time. I just take a path and follow what the first things I think of. So sometimes they stray off pretty easily from the subject. So that's just the way I do it sometimes. So do I consider it?
I'm not being critical. I'm just as like a way of like generating more, because if you don't, then it's like you could explain why a zombie flick is different from a slasher flick. Is there any difference in the kind of violence that they do? And it's not slasher because slashing is what's being done to the zombies, so it's not actually a slasher. Like, these are all questions I have in my mind about generating more words for your routine.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I consider it probably just a zombie movie now. I think originally when I started watching it were slasher movies. So
Yeah.
it's yeah. I
But
found this.
zombies bite; they don't slash. They bite.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Their brain and stuff like that. So it's a biting. It's a new genre. It's biting movie.
Yeah. Like violence against like people, though, like zombies eat humans for their brains, so the trope has us believe, right? And then slasher, like a slasher film, it might be, I don't know, something like Chainsaw Massacre. I don't. Oh, and a way for you to tighten up. Oh, go ahead. Pardon?
I was agreeing with you. I was nodding. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And a way to tighten up is to decide on which one you want to do, whether you don't like these films, or if you're just going to talk about one that you did see, because it was in two different parts of your routine, right? You were talking about I don't like slasher films, and then later you say a slasher film I saw. So if you like, just tighten it up, like choose one side. I think. Yeah.
That's a good point. I did notice after I said something about the Evil Dead, like, oh, I'm just contradicting myself now. I realized I did that too, so it's a very acute of you to see that. So, yeah,
it's not an easy thing.
Sorry, Lucy, do you have anything else?
I think that's all that I can think of right now.
Okay, cool. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Glenn, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Good. You wanna give?
Yeah, although I came in the middle of that, like I said, I was having problems. My computer was like slow as molasses.
Yeah.
But the only thing I can come up with is, because it's reminded me of what I told my wife one time. I was watching one of those zombie movies, and they're stabbing the guy in the head. And my wife goes, "How come they don't stab him in the heart?" I'm like, those are vampires. Vampires you stab in the heart, zombies you stab in the head. You better get your monster right, or else you're dead, So you can say something like that,
I have a bad phobia about zombies when I was a kid, so I seem to always go towards that way for some reason.
Yeah. So that's all I got on that one. It's like I said, it came in the end of it, but
yeah.
What do you mean you went towards that way when you had a zombie phobia as a kid? What way did you go?
Well, yeah, no, I turned into it. I got older, so I was phobic of zombies when I was a young kid, and then I just decided to face my fears and lead into it, and watched a lot of them. So I've studied. yeah, it's a dumb thing, but you got to know your enemies. That's what I figure. If I'm scared of zombie deaths, I better prepare myself for life. That's basically what I think about. So, yeah. Hey, Glenn, where are you from? I'm sorry. I've never...
San Diego, California.
Oh, West Coast, all the way down. Look at this.
Yeah. How about yourself?
I'm from Chilliwack. Robert's from Vancouver, and Lucia's from Victoria. We're all British Columbian people. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay. I think I've seen Robert before on another workshop.
We've been on a couple together, I think.
Yeah. I think Lucia. I might have seen Lucia once or twice. So.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah. So California is slowly opening up, and things are kind of getting back to normal. Heavy traffic, people cutting you off, you're getting the finger by the other drivers. So, so I don't know if you guys have road rage over there in Canada, but
yeah, we are
not as bad as down there, and we don't have 8 lanes of freeway, like it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I've been told not to look at anybody when I drive down there, and my eyes are just like tunnel vision. I don't look sideways. I don't look at anybody down there. I just go straight. Don't even ask for directions.
Yeah,
exactly. Memorizing their faces.
You can get into some bad areas and like Watts and whatnot, and then you start asking for directions, and then you're gonna get. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, let's get back together. Let's see what Sarah had some things. She had same questions for me. We talking horror or emo? That's a good question. My favorite slasher film is the one where they cut the prices at the grocery store.
She needs to
be before the gas pumps. Yeah, it's like
that's a joke that I have. Let's put this up here. I'm going to screenshot it.
They need to the prices at the gas pumps. That's for sure.
Thank you guys so much for that. Helpful. So let's a round of applause for me, everybody. How about that? Hey, let's move on. We'll keep going. For Glenn, we're going to go clockwise. My clockwise. So Robert, Lucia, then you.
Okay.
Okay.
So my word is lesson. And I feel like it's a very sexist word because it's not less daughter, it's less son. So will I be any less of a son if I don't listen to the lesson? You know what I mean? Like yeah, I don't know, man. That's a good question. But lessons always piss me off because they're always in chronological order. Like if you take a class at university, you always have to learn lesson 1 before you go to lesson 25, right? And what about those people who don't have the patience to learn all the 24 lessons in between? They just want to go straight to 25. Like myself, I don't have the patience, so I just drop out. But what pisses me off about lessons is you always get the lesson after the fact. Like you always have to burn your hand, and then it's like, oh, this thing is hot. I shouldn't touch a hot element, right? Like, why can't you get the lesson before you burn your hand? It's always the second time I touch something that I learn my lesson, right? Damn lessons are always too much. They're just too late. And you're driving, and then you see this ghost car, and you have this lesson that tells you that might be a ghost car because cops always disguise themselves as other cars, right? Mm-hmm. But you ignore the lesson, and then you go speed up, and guess what? It's a fucking ghost car. So yeah, these lessons are always too late. Every culture has its lesson. Lessons are designed to teach children things about life. Like Aesop Fables teaches kids not to be vain, like the story of the raven and the fox, where the fox flatters the raven, gets him to sing louder, louder, louder until he drops the cheese, What a dumb fucking raven. Jack and the Beanstalk taught kids never to trade prime grade A beef for some lousy beans, because that never turns out right. Well, does it? I mean, you get a giant beanstalk and some giants. But the culture that scares me the most is the German culture. Like, I don't know if you guys know about the German culture, but these are not lessons. These are nightmares disguised as lessons. Because in these stories, the kids always get the bad end of the. There goes my net again. But they've got this one story where the kids are playing with scissors, and the last frame of the story is they have no thumbs. Because the witch grabbed the scissors and cut off the kid's thumbs. So these German fairy tales are like men that are good lesson givers and they're people that are bad lesson givers. And Bruce Lee is terrible at it, because if you watch a reporter interviewing Bruce Lee, when Bruce Lee says something about life, like for example, when he says, empty your mind, be formless, shapeless, like water. If you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. If you put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. Be like water, my friend. And all the time, the guy's like looking at Bruce Lee and wondering what kind of crack the guy's been smoking, and swearing underneath his breath that he got such a shit assignment from his shitty boss that gave him this interview assignment with Bruce Lee. So Bruce Lee sucks at giving lessons. Anyhow, what bothers me about lessons is why do we have to have a lesson in everything? Like life is goddamn exhausting, isn't it? It's exhausting enough. Like I have to remember to put the seat down after I take a piss because the last time I forgot to, my wife fell into the toilet and I never heard the end of that. Or I shouldn't congratulate a fat lady on her pregnancy until I learn the real facts? Or should I remember to turn off the mic before calling my boss a piece of shit? There's so many lessons in life. Anyhow, my dad was good at lessons. He was good at demonstrating these lessons. Because I remember one time he gave me a math lesson. He said, I asked him where my 14 baby rabbits are. And he goes, well, there are 7 of you. You had 2 on each plate. 7 times 2 is 14. That's 14 baby rabbits. I said, thanks for the shitty math lesson, Dad. And I'm probably the only Asian kid who's traumatized by math, Well, that's my bit. Thanks for listening. That's it.
Yeah, everybody. Okay, Lucy, would you like to go first?
For feedback, right?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I thought you started off with some clever wordplay with the word lesson, and I'm just surprised that I've never considered that as part of the word because I like to, break down words and consider etymology or entomology. I don't know which one is right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's entomology. I think.
Entomology.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. As a girl, I didn't have the same perception of that word. And then, so near the beginning of your set, you said something like lessons are designed to about life. And then I thought that's where you can put in a joke because it needs more jokes. It's a really great, it's really great what you're saying, but it just needs more. And I thought that was one place where you could say something sarcastic or a little biting about, depending on, oh my gosh, you mentioned you're Asian and I'm looking at you as native actually. Wow. Do people think that you're a native?
Well, the border does. The border does. They one time went through the border. They go, "What tribe are you from, Chief?"
Wow, there you go.
You can't argue with the border, right? You can't say, "I'm Asian," you dumbass.
Yeah, that's a good story. That's a good story too. And
you say you won't. I mean, now you won't get through the border if you do that. They're always right.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was that part, and then I thought that you brought up Bruce Lee suddenly. I was trying to remember.
Well, I talked about how some people are good at giving lessons and some people are bad. And Bruce Lee is bad at giving lessons because he always starts off with these really obtuse kind of pieces of advice, which you don't even you can't understand half the time. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was talking about the quality of lesson. It wasn't that sudden. I don't think it was that sudden.
You broke up.
I think it's because the internet fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah, I missed part of that because you sound like Trump.
And then you mentioned the part about your wife sitting down in the toilet.
Yeah.
With the still up. Why isn't it about the women not looking first before sitting down.
They don't. They don't. They always just naturally sit down and then fall through, and then get all pissed off at you for not putting the seat down.
Yeah, but it's
Mm.
like
That's my experience.
we're supposed to be checking. I mean, anyway, it's
Well,
debatable.
I don't know. I think sometimes when it's dark, you don't check, right? You just go in and down, and that's it.
Sorry, Robert, go ahead.
I said, like, when it's dark and it's an emergency and you're not really turning on the lights, sometimes you just squat and then you go, oh my God, the seat's not down, right? And then you fall right through.
Oh.
And then in the morning, you never hear the end of it, you know? Like, I mean, it's happened.
I hadn't considered that.
Yeah.
I sit corrected.
No, that's okay. I appreciate all this, you know,
Sure.
positive criticism.
Myself with that thing. So I have one of these seats that, because I've got a real bad habit of just dropping seats down because I never leave them up. I just drop them. It's a big smack all the time. So like I got these new seats that are just gradual ones. So
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry. I remember this one time I had to go to the bathroom, so I picked the seat up and I was like undoing my pants. Then I went to sit down. I didn't realize it slowly closed, and I just totally just sat on my whole testicle, just crushed my.
Holy shit.
I can relate with the seat not being up or down.
That's got to be painful.
You get, at least in a male way. I mean, rough. So, yeah, sorry to interrupt you there, Lucy. I just couldn't help but throw that in. So.
Oh yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah. So that was all of the feedback that I had.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you. How about you, Glenn? Do you have anything for Robert?
Tough subject, you know, lessons learned and this and that, you know.
Yeah. It's a whole lot.
I don't know where to start, quite honestly.
Oh, can I actually interrupt?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, so Robert, earlier when you mentioned about being Asian and not being good at math, are you actually of the age group where we were noticing that Asians were good at math, or was that before your time? Like, what was the experience?
I'm 64 now, so when did that happen?
Yeah.
I probably did notice that.
Yeah.
I think
What was
it
it like when you were
I'm
noticing
64
that?
now.
Pardon me?
I'm 64 now, so if that happened any time before that, then I would have noticed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's just a stereotype. I make fun of, like, you know, like everybody says, "Oh, Asians are good at math." I go, "Well, I'm not." You know?
and you're allowed to, because that's who you are.
When I took math in high school, I took the math 11T, which is, it's called terminal. It's not for terminal cases. It's for people that are not planning on continuing in math.
Yeah. Wow.
They had all these, like, you know, names for different things. Math 11T. Yeah. I didn't like math. I don't know. But then when I became a teacher, I had to teach math, and I went and did it through a different way. I went by getting the answer first of all and going backwards.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they give you the answer in the textbook. So I'm like, oh, how do you get that answer? And then I worked through the problem backwards.
Yeah.
Which is harder to do than actually learning, you know, the other way. So maybe I wasn't so bad at math, but I was just not taught properly. I don't know. Because I had to eat rabbits, maybe. I don't know. You know, it was very traumatizing eating your pet rabbits. We weren't allowed to have pets. Well, we could have pets, but we'd never see them in the morning.
There's a dog joke in there somewhere.
Oh.
Dog bird joke. I don't know where. I'll just
We don't. Yeah, I did a set on that, and like in China, we don't call them dog walkers. We know them by another name, unemployed.
Glenn, do you have anything else? Sorry, you okay? Did you have enough? Or?
Yeah, like I said, I had enough. Like I said,
That came out wrong. Definitely.
So,
Robert, when you're talking about the lesson, call me stone, but I thought of less of the sun with like the moon or something like that. When you started talking down the word, I was like, oh, that's a weird way to take it. But I liked your theme of the set, which was learn by failure. That's pretty much what it was.
Yeah.
What to do, not to do. I liked your Jack and the Beanstalk reference when you said the grade A beef or beans. Or I feel like you could take it further, but I'm not sure how. I was about because like now you go buy enough meat for what you're going to eat, but back then you had to buy like a whole ox, like a town or something like that. Because how do you divvy it up? There's no fridges. You just got to cut them up and eat them right away. So the selling of the bull was always it's just a weird thing to me when I think about that. But yeah. But yeah, you broke up halfway through from my end, so I was having a real hard time about half your set. So
yeah, I know. The goddamn internet here sucks.
Yeah,
it's Wi-Fi and it's terrible.
Have you thought about moving by chance?
No, I've complained to my lady, but she doesn't like to hear any kind of complaints, man. I said, call Shaw and tell him the internet here sucks, and she goes,
At least ask for a discount if you're not getting the rates or the speed that you should be getting.
Not paying. I mean, that's all included in the rent.
Oh, okay.
Same with laundry. I need to do my laundry, but I can't. Well, that's another story. I'm not going to get into all my personal problems, honestly.
Save it for
hey, that's where some of the magic comes from.
We got a couple things here. Facebook user, hey fellas. Here's another one. Sitting on your nuts is a summer problem. It definitely is.
Oh my God. Yeah, I've done that. That hurts.
Lesson learned myself. But yeah. Okay, let's give another round for Robert, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, Lucia, I'm going to give you an intro. How's that sound? Okay. So,
all right.
Everybody watching out there, please put your hand together. I hear she's a great, funny comedian. I'm very excited to see her for my first time. Lucia Ribeiro, everybody.
Okay. So I'll just tell you beforehand that I just don't have enough time to memorize stuff. I'm sorry to be such a whiny excuse person, but so I'm going to be reading it, and I'll try to. Anyway, my topic is CrossFit. What I know about CrossFit is that the people doing that, living that, get in the way, running up and down whatever sidewalk you're trying to walk on, that the city probably isn't getting any rent from Satan's company for being used. Oh, let's come up with a business. And part of the business takes place in other people's way. And we'll charge the suckers getting in people's way. Those sinewy, tight-calved suckers. The way CrossFitters take up extra space is like bicycle companies that just leave their bikes laying around on the sidewalk to get in the way of people in wheelchairs or people using walkers. Sure, those people might not be funny anymore, always talking about their health problems, but they're still upright, and that's admirable. No wonder that woman in that little video was kicking over those scooters on the sidewalk. She's got friends who need a different kind of scooter. It takes a lot of motivation to get me to exercise, let alone do what I think might be the circuit training hell that CrossFit might be. Okay, it's not the same thing. I looked it up. But circuit training, the definition of it, reads like you might not piss off people if you do it. A series of exercises you do at home, so why go to the gym unless you already have a fit body to maintain and show off at the gym? It's like the gym isn't for getting there. It's like you have to already be there, and then you go to the gym. This is so delicate. Who's to say what motivates a person? With all the anti-fat shaming going on, but what about people that need shame, humiliation to stop something that's bad for them? How could two wrongs make a right? But maybe they finally do make a right. Maybe this is the exception to the rule. But don't humiliate me to the point of making me cry. What I really like about CrossFit, the little that I know about CrossFit, is that heavy rope exercise. I envision a photograph of a woman doing the heavy rope, and she's got like a fierce expression on her face, and she's like, still and successful and strong. And like, that's the kind of image of CrossFit that I have in my mind. And the last thing I wrote, I don't understand why. It must be funny to see someone give advice for something that was relevant how long ago. So maybe CrossFit isn't as hated as it used to be. I don't know. I just go to the gym. I just work out on equipment, you know. I don't run up and down the sidewalk downtown like on a Friday at 1 p.m. when people are trying to get their lunch on their lunch break. Like, give it a rest. CrossFit.
Hey, Lucia Rivera, everybody.
Thanks.
I think that was pretty good. There's a reading, of course, is always dry bit, but we've all been reading, so don't feel bad about that. I first thought their CrossFit was it's for people with military fixations. You know, I always figure that to me when I look at them, like, oh, you just want to be in the army, but you're too scared to join up.
Yeah.
Too afraid to join.
Yeah. I like your thing about two wrongs make a right. Don't humiliate me until I cry. I think it'd be funny if you took it away where you said like after you said that was starting going like insulting them, but the way a bro dude would do CrossFit, because I always figure they're kind of bro dudes and like just kind of coming at them in their lingo in a way. I just crossed my mind as being funny, but no, good job.
Thanks.
How about you, Glenn? Do you have anything for her?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out the reference you were saying there. Were you talking about the so-called beautiful people, you know, like the supermodels that show up at the gym? Yeah, maybe you could have said something like, "Yeah, it's for those supermodel people that we're never going to look like, no matter how many hours we put in and how many reps we do," something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's true. You know, you look at these people like, okay, how do I get my arm the size of a bus? You know. So
yeah, some of the people are really like what they're doing in just in the gym, you know, with free weights and stuff. They're really,
and it's like they walk around with those mid shirts, you know, like showing off their, you know,
their abs.
Yeah, you couldn't wear your full shirt today. You know, I had to come and wear my.
Yeah, well, what are you, right? Or what am I jealous? Am I jealous?
Why it's like a hood ornament for them, you know.
They look good. They look so good. I want to eat them all.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I think you actually put me on a thought there, Glenn. Was I do picture a lot of CrossFitters, like 1950s. You ever seen those old exercise like PE like videos from like the 50s, the old gray ones where they have like the you know, the sleeveless shirt,
yeah,
socks and Converse on, like they're Hoosiers basically.
Yeah, and they all look the same, and they're all uniformed, and
they're forced to wear that outfit. Those CrossFitters, let's pinpoint them out. I don't want them looking attractive. I want the shorts pulled right up to their, you know, belly buttons. So you think about it, yeah. So that's funny. So
was that a military poster that you saw?
Oh no, I just remind me of old videos you see in the 50s about you know, the dodgeball videos. It's something you can relate to, maybe that movie Dodgeball. But they had the video when I was a kid. They show old 1950s calisthenic videos or whatever, running around, football videos. I remember that in school.
Oh,
and it was on the reel to reel, you know.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, the Simpsons plays like mock ones of them all the time. I used to be a big kid, so it does look like all the CrossFitters. That's pretty much the exercises they're doing. So, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Interesting montage, like the vintage compared to the modern.
Yeah.
Another thing that I forgot about including actually is that CrossFit could be the sentiment that's at Bible camp, and all of the kids, they want to be like, they're like, I don't know, 14 or 15-year-old boys, but they want to be fit enough to be used to be put on the cross for like the end of the summer camp pageant or something, you know, and like for them, CrossFit is that you're worthy enough to be on the cross. So, they work out before. Yeah, I forgot about that one. CrossFit, the kids at camp.
That's okay. That's a funny subject, but it's like, wow, I don't know how you'd take that.
Yeah, that's touching.
Yeah, I know. I've never been to camp. I've never been to camp. I can imagine. I saw Wet Hot American Summer. That's enough of a reference to go by, maybe, or
Meatballs. Have you seen that movie? That's a good one.
Oh God,
Yeah.
that was a great movie.
Yeah.
It just doesn't matter.
Yeah, that'd be good to revisit some of the classics, actually.
Robert Ma, do you have anything for Lucia?
I don't really know what CrossFit is. Is it just training different, using different routines or something? I don't know. I see the one with the
routine.
rope.
Yeah, like with the rope, and then, or maybe they pull the big tire. They do something with like a big tire. It's like monster truck size tire. It's huge. But my gripe with CrossFit is that usually they're doing stuff. They're doing reps on the sidewalk. You know, they're sprinting on the sidewalk.
Yeah, I got that part where it makes sense that you have to go around them.
Going on.
You have to go around them if you're like driving your electric mobility scooter, you know, like
Yeah.
with all the senior citizens in Victoria, you know, goddamn CrossFitters. They're taking up half the sidewalk, you know.
Yeah.
But I get that part, but I'm still not really I don't really understand what CrossFit is. Like, I mean, I see these images. What are they crossing? Like, what fitness routines are they crossing? Like, what is that
I guess you
supposed
could
to
say it's kind of like a hybrid exercise. You know, they go from the ropes to pushing the tire to running a mile, or and
Whoa.
Cardio
like,
and aerobic, and then
isn't it like a group of people, and then they all switch stations at one time, or this and that?
But that's
I see them do it all the time at the beach or down.
I did no research. I don't know. I did no research on it.
I mean, I used to work out too, and that's a circuit. They didn't call it CrossFit; they just called it the circuit. You just do the circuit. Go from station 1 to station 2 to station 3.
Circuit is different. Circuit.
Yeah. Down here, we're at the parks and stuff. They'll have it during the summertime at the beach and stuff. And the instructor, the instructor will bring out like bikes and stuff. So they'll do the bike, and then they'll do push-ups or sit-ups, and then at the end they'll do like some type of yoga to relax and namaste type stuff. So,
isn't that a circuit though? Was that you go from station 1 to station 2 to station 3, like
something like that? Yeah. So, or it's one instructor instructing everyone, and he does the exercises. And he just switches from one to another. It's like it's supposed to get your like heart rate up and get you like all pumped and sweaty and stuff. So
yeah,
so.
It's basically something.
What's that?
I would really have a hard time doing that move.
Yeah. So
he keeps cutting out.
Military training.
You have Arnold out there. Come on, you worthless people.
I think that whole angle about not being frustrated because you can't get into the military, so you sign up for a CrossFit class. I think that's a good angle, because these are just frustrated.
In the military, talking about you could also use not getting into those clothes that you used to have.
Don't age them already. Let go.
Yeah.
They wear a lot of spandex, don't they? CrossFitters. I don't know.
Jack LaLanne. I remember Jack LaLanne.
Yeah. Some people look good in spandex, and some people don't. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. I'm on a course of this.
Well, I don't understand all this fascination with this six-pack shit, man. I mean, I'm 30. I'm not 35. I'm 64, right? I'm never going to have a six-pack ever again. So, squash that fantasy. You want to see a six-pack? I'll just call 5 of my friends and we'll do a nude selfie. Then there'll be a six-pack. That's the only six-pack you're going to see, because I don't get six-packs anymore. I lost that when I was 35. Anyhow, that's my beef.
The only six-pack you're bringing home is the one from the grocery store.
Yeah, from the liquor store, for sure.
Yep.
2 of those six-packs.
I think we've run this subject.
Yeah.
Round of applause to Lucia Ribeiro, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, Glenn. I'll give you an introduction here. This is I'm bad at introductions. I've been told this by Dan Brennan, that bastard. Anyways, it's our next comedian's all the way from San Diego. He moved out to San Diego. I can't believe he woke up early for this. Please put your hands together for Glenn Cias, everybody.
Yeah. Actually, it's only like 7 p.m. here, so I'm surprised you guys are crazy. You know, it's like 10 o'clock there, right? You guys are the night owls, and yeah. So
Pacific time.
yeah. So, anyways, my subject was crippling debt, and so at first I thought that was kind of not fair because isn't that 2 words, crippling and debt? You know?
Yeah, that's not fair. That's not one word.
Yeah, I know, huh? So I thought about it. I'm like, what kind of things cause crippling debt? Well, let's see. If you can't afford that Louis Vuitton watch and you got high interest rates on your credit card and you can't pay the cable bill, well, then you probably have crippling debt, you know? If you have to like finance a trip to Disneyland or Disney World, you know, and you know, because it's not the happiest place on earth anymore, it's the most expensive place on earth. You got to have the magic wallet to go to the Magic Kingdom nowadays, you know. Bippity boppity boo, here's 100. Go buy yourself the cheeseburger only. That's not including the drink or fries. So that might be a crippling debt because at 120, 130 bucks a pop, whatever it is now over here in California, you know, a family of 4, that's like almost $1,000. So, you know, I thought Walt Disney wanted to make it affordable for everyone. There's a magical place, but you know, he's probably rolling in his grave anyway. Either that or because he's an entrepreneur. It's like, yeah, way to go, guys. So, crippling debt, the national deficit, you know, that could be crippling debt for a nation. But heck, it seems like you can just write money as much as you want. You know, look at all these bills that Biden's putting out, you know. Ooh, those stimulus checks that we're getting over here, it's not free. It's coming back in high taxes in the gas. The price of lumber has gone up. The price of homes have gone up. Yeah, it's crippling, you know. It's like, you know, the average guy can't buy a house nowadays, you know. And even if the one person sells their house, they're out of that market because the houses are too high in price. So, hey. Yeah, crippling debt. So that's all I could think about it because, you know, what else can you say about crippling debt? It's not good. You know, you know, it can crippling debt could turn off your water, turn off the electricity. If you don't have enough money to pay the bills because you got too many other bills like in credit cards and stuff you shouldn't be buying, well, that might be crippling debt. So I don't know what else to say. That's my thing. So,
Glenn, see us, everybody. Round of applause. Way to go. Let's start with Robert. What do you? I muted you, Robert. I'm sorry you're allowed there. So, but please go ahead.
Okay. Well, I like the whole reference to Disneyland. I think that's so true. Like Disneyland is so goddamn expensive, and yeah, Walt has already made his money off of Disneyland. We all know that. I don't know. Crippling debt's not an easy one. I mean, I guess you could look at the fact that it's personification, right? Like it's giving a human characteristic to an inanimate object. Like, you know, the debt's crippling, right? It's crippling someone. So the debt is taking some kind of action. Maybe you can go from that could be an angle. I don't know. It's a tough one. It's like debt is debt, man. Debt is already fucking crippling, you know? It doesn't have to be any more than debt. Exactly. Like debt and crippling debt, they're like freaking identical twins practically. I mean, there's no difference between the two, I think, in some situations. But I would speak to Scott Porteous about giving you 2 words. That pisses me off, man. Like all of us have one.
Life is lemons. You make lemonade.
No. If you let this go, we're all going to get 2 words next time, man. You got to stand up. You got to stand up.
I want to see management, damn it.
I do not want 2 words. This is hard enough as it is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I should have incorporated my last word a few weeks ago. It was chaos theory. So.
Oh yeah. You seem to be getting. You're always getting the 2 words, huh? You're always getting them.
Hey, you know, So
I think it's a
My next word is schoolyard fight. So that's another double word. See, Scott is losing it, man.
Lucia, what do you think about Glenn's thing?
I had a little add-on, little tag
okay.
where you're talking about, and you can't pay the cable bill. I think you should be a little sardonic about that, because it's like cable isn't really essential. It's like it should be considered a luxury, I think. You
Yeah, I
know,
was thinking about that. Yeah.
because that's essential, because that's gonna, provide protein for my regular bowel movements. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So make a joke there about that. And then
Yeah.
where you say the average guy can't buy a house, maybe you could say something like, this average guy can't even buy you dinner at McDonald's. But I think you've been with your wife so you don't have to have that horrible prospect in your future, because you're safe in
What are you
these.
talking about? I'm like the woman in the family. I like to spend the money, and she's frugal. So
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's an
I
interesting.
have more shirts and more clothes and more shoes. So
Yeah.
the
Oh,
only thing I'm going is the makeup. So
yeah.
Role reversal.
And so there was that suggestion. And lastly, I agree with Robert's point actually about debt, how it's like crippling debt. Debt is debt. And then like another layer of it being crippling. What does that look like? Like instead of using a credit card to pay for drinks, you save your money instead, and not, because like there was parts to it where it seemed like you were trying to give advice about avoiding debt, and I thought, debt, oh my god, and I thought that wasn't appropriate for a joke context.
well, like I said, I didn't know where to go with this one. It was kind of like,
Yeah.
I do have a financial background. I've studied. I do have an insurance license, and I've learned things about debt and this and that. And compounding debt is great for investments, but horrible in credit cards. So
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So like, since you didn't have like a personal story about crippling debt, I think I was expecting something from you about just like, I guess, what kind of angle you were taking it from, because you had a few different examples, right?
Yeah, like Robert was saying, it's one of those hard ones to get an angle on, So
yeah.
So it's kind of like a few weeks ago, I did a show with my other group, and it was in front of the Sharp Healthcare Foundation, and that involves cancer and all that. And my whole spiel was about what kind of jokes do you tell to a cancer foundation, because these are prestigious people in the audience and this and that. And you don't want to say anything offensive. And
right.
So I just told them about my story about when I had cancer. So kind of made it whimsical and this and that. So.
Oh, great. What I'm saying is that, oh, damn, what the hell am I saying? I liked your part about the national debt and how they're just writing the money. And that's gonna.
That's what they're doing over here. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but it's like, Biden's just writing check after check after check, like it's coming out of the mint, like it's free toilet paper, So
yeah, something like that, right?
Yeah.
I liked your focus of it at the national level.
Yeah. So, but so like I said, that was one of those where you try to make something out of it, and it might be lemonade, but it might not be, So.
I don't know.
The lemons were sour, I guess you could say. No, lemons are usually sour, but anyways, rotten. I don't know. It's hard to get a hang on it, So.
It was good. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was a hard subject too myself. Like I was thinking about myself to go through because I just try to switch the words around, maybe like crippling debt, or they in debt because they got crippled. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a way to work that out.
Yeah.
Or do the handicap? Do they like take Are they angry about that crippling debt? Because
Yeah.
it's like,
But did it stem from that? Like maybe it's an old language thing. Who knows, right? But
Who knows?
What do you call a handicapped person who has debt? You can't call it crippling debt. Like that'd be
I don't know what I call it. I'm handicapped. I'm
Go to the
considered
dark
handicapped.
side. That's good, Robert.
bad. What do you mean it's good? It's bad.
Yeah.
it was weird. I was just dealing with a guy during your just at the end set. A guy named.
I don't know what just happened.
Different. There's two bills.
Was that me? Hold on for a minute. I'll leave.
I kicked one of you off. So we have a guy named Bill showing up. I guess maybe one of you guys shared him. Maybe he's an audience member or something like that coming to watch. So anybody know Bill?
No.
There was a Bill that showed up. I thought it was weird. It's not a big deal though. But yeah. Anyways, I think we should give another round of applause for Glenn. Way to go.
Yeah, I can't.
Way to go. So everybody watching, this is the part of the show where we do our own material. And we redo the same function. We go through 3 to 5 minutes sort of thing. So we're going to go the same rotation. I'm going to go first. I'll keep it pretty easy because I want to. So whatever. Okay, so listen, let me give myself an intro because I deserve it just like all you guys. I need to get to my clock here and timer first, though. So this next comedian is probably the best comedian ever. Everybody loves him. Put your hands together for Keller Reeves, everybody.
Woo!
Liar. Big fat liar. You guys know what a pseudonym is by chance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's how a person with a cleft palate pronounce cinnamon. That's what's.
I shouldn't be laughing at that.
That's one of those jokes nobody should laugh at, but they do. It's like
That's where you got to go. That's where you got to go.
It took me an hour to write that joke because I couldn't spell pseudonym. But just like pseudonym, it's a really hard. It's like a word you should get rid of. It's basically like it just means a pen name, or like a gamer tag basically, or a different writing name. But anyways, it's a dumb word and I hate it. Over COVID, I picked up a bad habit of watching a lot of rap battles on YouTube. We also got into this stuff. MTV rap battles. I really got into it pretty hard. And I was like always thinking the funny thing at the start of their rap battles is always like they're trying to catch the beat, I guess. They're always like, okay, yo, okay, yo, okay, yo, okay, yo. And I was like how many yo's is too many yo's, basically, and the answer is 11. So I just read I have a Guinness Book of World Records that I'm gonna give it to you. This is the 11 yo's in one sentence, everybody, okay? Yo, Eureka, Yolanda. We just found your yo-yo on your floor, yo. That was 11 yo's. Thank you very much in one sentence. Previously owned Guinness Book of Record, but also by myself with 5, because that's how much I've had to raise this up. Here's you guys ever, like, I always think back, like, how far back in history did the air quotes, the air quotes, how far back did they go? Was there like some guy named Grug, some caveman named Grug, being described by his grandfather as a real knuckle dragger? You know what I mean? A real knuckle dragger, that Grug, right? And, I always think it's funny, like, that's how old people were, 30 when they died. So their grandfathers at like 20, and their midlife crisis was pretty much puberty, which I found always funny to me. So anybody that's in Canada knows this. Glenn won't know this, but if you're out there, maybe you do. There's a show I like to watch called Pingu. I don't know if you guys ever caught this show before. Pingu's this claymation kids show made in Sweden and Britain, kind of co-made, basically about this penguin that doesn't speak English. He just hangs out with his sister, Pingu and Pinga. Pinga's a sister, and their friend, the seal named Robbie, which is pretty funny to me because it's a dumb name, Robbie. But I like how they deal with difficulties amongst each other because they don't speak English. But like I've always fantasized about dealing with somebody I don't like in the same way Pingu deals with Pinga or Robbie in the way he doesn't like. He just looks him in the face, goes, then slaps him with a fish. That's how Pingu deals with problems, and I love it. That's what I really want to deal with my boss that way sometimes. You guys, I watch a show. I listen to this podcast called Lexicon Valley, and what it is it's on I guess wordplay and like language and like how words exist and everything else. And the one part about it I always found funny because someone asked this question on the podcast. I go, "What was the founding fathers? What accent did they have?" Which are the states. And that's a legitimate question because that's like the 1600s. Like what English did they speak or like how did they sound? Because there's so many dialects, right? And what it came out to be was that in the 1800s, English people, the pompous aristocrats wanted to sound more elite than the public. So they started talking into the form of English that we know now, right? So what happens, all the people below wanted to act cool too, just like you see with the Kardashians with their asses and everything. So they wanted to copy. So they started speaking the same way as English do now. So the real basic English language when they came over to the States was more like the Boston accent. If you guys didn't know that, the Boston accent. And the funny thing about it is I always think about it, it's like, I want to see all those old Rome movies, movies made about Rome in the English accent. I want to see them in like a Boston accent. I want to see like I am Spartacus, kid. I'm really wicked tough gladiator. That's what I want to see, And hey, Crixus, get over here. Come say hello to the camera, Crixus. I can't do a Boston accent, but I like the thought of it. It makes me laugh. Last little bit, I like to do a small version of it because I need to practice it. I lost a lot of weight over like before COVID, like 80 pounds. I used to be much chubbier than I was. And I did it with keto. And, keto is always like something people start, but nobody ever finishes keto. It's a quit. It's just that they never get through. There's no final form of it. Right. But, like a friend of mine started telling me like, hey, Keller, with all that weight loss, you could be part of the itty bitty titty committee now. I was like, oh, that's shitty because I'm way too busy to be on another committee. You know what I'm saying? He goes, not to be nitpicky, Kelly, but you're not just part of the itty bitty titty committee, but you're a not so busty trustee in the itty bitty titty committee. I was like, well, that's completely shitty because I am way too busy to run another committee. Like I'm already part of the anxiety sobriety society. That's one I'm already part of. And also the All Girls Federal Bureau of Rural Squirrel Murals. It used to be called the All Girls Federal Bureau of Rural Squirrel Murals and Characters, but it just seemed too long, so they decided to shorten it just to the All Girls Federal Bureau. Okay, what I'm trying to say is that I'm way too busy to be part of another committee. That's what I really want to say. I'm just too busy part of anybody's itty titty committee. So, anyways, that's all I'm going to do tonight. Thank you very much. Round of applause for me, everybody. Yeah. Well, Robert, how about you? We're going to go clockwise this way. So, what do you think?
What did you talk about? I don't know, man. It's getting late. Let me think. Okay, you talked about this committee, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really have too much to say. I like your delivery. I thought it was pretty fast and quick-witted and all good in the hood, man. Yeah. I can't really nitpick it or pinpoint anything because I'm just, I don't know. It wasn't, it was good. There's nothing to, moving right along.
I can nitpick the shit out of it.
Please do it. I need criticism. I need to know that I'm not special.
Great delivery, great energy, and sometimes like too much. Eventually, I'll tell you, but I'm just going to go in order. So with the word pseudonym, you could go into the background again with like the etymology. I guess I'm a bit of a nerd about that. Pseudonym, like why? Well, what does pseudo mean? Does it mean phony or something or a second thing? I don't know. So there's that. It took you too long to get to the I am Spartacus. And like, it was all like, maybe that's how a punchline should be. I don't know. I don't always have them, but like a punchline, it just crashed down suddenly with like, I am Spartacus and the accent and all of that information came out at once. And that was good. But the stuff before it, there was too much talking because I felt like it's like, oh, this is his point, Yeah. When you finally got to doing that accent.
Yeah, I did that joke from memory, so I ended up doing a bit of a rattle. It's I gotta kind of cut. I have it cut down a bit more, but okay. Not in a while. It's like one of those.
Yeah,
things.
Yeah, it's great theme. I like that. Like the movies done in a different accent. And
Appreciate
so good observation about keto. Like I don't know if it's true. Like people start it, they don't finish it,
Yeah.
and you kind of left it hanging whether or not you finished it. Did you finish it?
Yeah, you know what? That's the next portion of the jokes. I didn't do
Okay.
it, but so yeah, I'm still on it. 2 years running. So,
Oh, okay. All right.
yeah. Feeling fit. I'm still fat, but I'm just less fat than I was.
Yeah.
So,
How are your friends like responding to you? And like, are they actually? Some of them they probably think you're gaining weight because it's been 10 or 15 years since they saw you, maybe. Because like gain or lose weight, it's like people don't know if you're losing or if you're gaining.
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, no, I don't know. I still keep in track with all my friends, so most of them keep. Yeah, they know I gained weight and and lost, and just the way it is. So they remember me as much thinner, but they also gradually got fat around everybody else, and then got really fat. So just the way it works. But yeah. There's more stories in on that, but
Yeah.
it's funny. So I appreciate the input, though. Thank you so much. So,
Okay. You're welcome.
yeah. How about you, Glenn?
Oh, I thought it was great. Especially going into the different accents, the Spartacus and stuff. And accents are just different accents are just like awesome. I was working at a coffee cart at SeaWorld one time, and I kid you not, this guy walks up and like, "Yeah, I have a cup of coffee." And then his son goes, "Hey, Dad, can I have a cup of coffee too?" And I had to refrain myself from laughing my ass off. But and then aside from the English people, "Excuse me, where is the toilet?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, the bathroom that way." And then there was the German guy. They showed up one of my carts, and the $5 bill blew off the register cart, and he's like, "Scheiße." I'm like, "Hey, I know what that means." But yeah, accents are great, and just putting it into the different movies, if you maybe you could have put Arnold in there too, was Spartacus, hey yo.
Yeah.
I don't know any lines from Spartacus, so I could, but Arnold's accent, yeah. So
yeah, it
hey,
was
you Roman soldiers, you bunch of girly men, yeah. You could do like Hans and Franz or something like that. So, but yeah, great bit. So,
oh, thank you. Yeah. Sorry, Lucy, do you have something there?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that it was a lot. Like I don't even remember everything that you did, but like aside from what I said, your delivery is really good and your energy is really good. So that was cool. And it was like a lot. So maybe sometimes you need to like slow down, and then when you slow down, other little branches of your ideas will start to come out too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I do I think I'm a fast talker anyways. So I have to consciously slow myself down just talking normally. So
Yeah.
It's hard to slow yourself down. I find it's really difficult if you don't have an audience, right? Because you can't know how fast you're going. I remember the old comedians used to have drum rolls, like they'd say a joke and then they'd be, and then you go on to the next joke, but we don't have that anymore. So I think we tend to I myself am guilty of it, going too fast, jumping from joke to joke, not letting the joke settle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I think that's my style of storytelling, unfortunately, that I do go fast. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. I had that complaint before, and I have to consciously slow down for some jokes. Like I've been like that first joke, I've been trying, and one thing I've been noticing after I asked, like, a pseudonym is I have to take a drink. Because it prevents me from then moving on past it, right? So going too quick to it, I let people permeate on it. So I perhaps have to do that more often myself. Take drinks and pretend I'm slowing myself down that way. So
yeah,
that's
some
great
way of doing that, of slowing the rhythm.
Joke. It was unexpected.
Yeah, I appreciate that, everybody. Thank you so much. How about another fast. Another round of applause for me, everybody. Thank you. Hey, so all the way from Vancouver, doing a lot of shows outside. Please put your hands together for Robert Ma, everybody.
Yay! Like I said, I'm the oldest comic in the world. I don't know if the world, but definitely in BC. I used to be the most hated comic in BC, and now that's changed to being the oldest. So I guess that's a better better moniker. I guess you guys are pretty tired of the lockdown. Like I've just about had it. You know, to me, it's like a prison sentence. My wife wants me to call her warden. You know, we've been inside so long. I told her like the other day. I told her I'm going to the yard, and she said, "Sure, go to the yard. Push weights with your prison buddies." I said, "No, not that yard. I'm going to the backyard for a cigarette." You know, it's really hard on the single women these days because they're spending too much time with their special friend, which means vibrator. A lot of them are actually become major shareholders in Everready. I have a friend who decided to paint prisoner tats on her vibrator, and I asked her why she did that, and she said because we've been spending a lot of time in solitary confinement. You know, I go, okay. Anyhow, the pandemic has been very good for family bonding. I found like the other day, my son, he's so cute. He's like, 5 years old. He comes up and goes, "Daddy." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "What is social distancing?" I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Social distancing." I go, "Oh, you mean social distancing? Well, that means go to your room." My daughter came up to me and she goes, "Dad," she's a little bit older. She goes, "Dad, I need to talk to you about something." And I said, well, we've always been close. You can just tell me what you want to talk about, get it off your chest. And she goes, "Well, it's not that easy." And I said, "Well, go ahead, get it off your chest." So she says, "Dad," I go, "What?" She says, "Can you spend less time with me?" I'm back to being alone. So I bought this Alexa. I don't know if you guys know about the Alexa. She's a virtual girlfriend.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
That's her right there. She just, you talk about her in the third person, she answers. But anyhow, so I caught her playing this really crappy music the other day, right? And I go like, "Alexa, play some goddamn music," right? And she goes, "Here's a gospel channel you might like," right? And I'm like, see, there she goes again. And then I said, I know with the Alexa, shut up. So with Alexa, you got to be very specific, right? So you have to give her specific cues. So I said, "Play some motherfucking music." And she goes, "Here's some mother music you might like." What the hell is mother music? To this day, I don't even know what she's talking about. Like, I feel like my Alexa shouldn't be just eye candy on the sofa, right? She should help out with the household chores. So I said, "Alexa, go and do some dishes." And she goes, "Robert, unlike a normal human being, I have no arms and legs." I said, "Bitch, get back in the kitchen. Don't give me any excuses." And then, sometimes I ask her inappropriate questions. Like I asked her if she could give me a blowjob, and she goes, "Robert, that's not very professional." I said, "Well, I don't want a professional blowjob. We can buy a tape and learn together." She's a really jealous person. Like one time I came home from work early, and she was going through my iPhone, and she goes, "Who is this Siri bitch?" And I was on the virtual, the virtual doghouse for a while. Like, I'm not a big fan of technology. Like, I hate these talking crosswalks. I don't know if you guys have these talking crosswalks where you are, but they're so rude. They go like, "Wait, wait, wait," like this, right? I mean, do you guys remember when you were a kid and you lost your ball in the neighbor's yard? He goes, "Get that ball out of here!" Like this, right? Or the math teacher that, "It's my way, the highway!" Or your wife before her morning cup of coffee, "Can you take the garbage out?" I'm like, wow, did I marry Beelzebub's sister? What's going on here? So, yeah, I don't like technology. There's a, in your car, you have this check engine light. When you see that check engine light, you think the car's going to explode, right? Like, I was driving with my senior friend the other day, and we're going down the highway, and the check engine light comes on. So I immediately pull over. I tell him, like, "Man, go see what's happening." So he opens up the hood. He looks under under the hood, and he comes back 5 minutes later. I said, "Well, what did you find?" He goes, "Yep, it's still there." He checked the engine. It was still there. But sometimes you have voice calling in your car, and like I don't know how they do this, but I asked my car to call Sandy at Toys R Us, and my car said calling Candy at Hoors R Us. I'm like, how do they get away with this copyright infringement, I don't mind all technology. I don't mind spell check. Like spell check changes what you type. Like my wife texted me and she said, "Get home soon or I'll lock your ass out." But spell check changed that to "Get home soon and I'll lick your ass out." And so I had to break the speed record, right? She doesn't get that kinky very often. Like Tesla now is a self-driving car. I mean, they actually caught one in Alberta that was speeding. And when the cop pulled it over, those seats were totally reclined, right? It looked like nobody was driving. Now, I think that would be so bizarre, like I can't wait until Tesla makes its own excuses for speeding. So, excuse me, Tesla, were you speeding? Well, possibly. Like, I have a feeling that Tesla would talk like a science nerd. Like, I may have been, like possibly. I'm like, were you speeding or not? The cop's getting impatient. And finally Tesla admits, and yeah, I was speeding. And then the cop says, well, why were you speeding? And Tesla says, well, because that car in front of us, that car is a gasoline engine model. It reminded me of the affair that my wife had when she was slumming, because batteries aren't good enough for her. I mean, I'm state-of-the-art technology, and she's slumming with a gas combustion engine. It's like, and Tesla can order its own parts now, like that's the bizarre thing. Like it used to be that you'd have to protect your credit card from your wife or your daughter. But now Tesla, like, Tesla can order its own parts. So you'd like, hey, Tesla, what's this, this $1,500 for this custom exhaust system, But I'm not going to like the time when we have these other kinds of self-driving cars. Like we're going to have a Korean self-driving car that stops at every street corner and wants to set up a convenience store. We're going to have a Chinese self-driving car that, fill it up and half an hour later it's hungry again, so you have to fill it up again. We're going to have a Japanese self-driving car who accidentally runs a red light, then can't bear the shame and decides to commit harikari. And we're going to have a South Vietnamese self-driving car who doesn't want to go north because he doesn't know that the war's over. So, there's all these different self-driving cars that are going to happen. The good thing, I've learned a couple good things from, pandemic. Like I've learned some new vocabulary. I've learned herd immunity. You guys know what herd immunity is? That's when you're with the herd and you can't be attacked by the random tigers that are roaming the savannah, like you'll watch a show and one of these poor suckers will be separated from the herd and then all of a sudden there'll be some tiger's lunch. He doesn't have herd immunity. And I also learned this one called contact tracing. Contact tracing, everybody knows what that is. If you're a senior, you take out your contact lenses, you can't find them, so you have to retrace the steps where the places that you visited earlier that morning. That's contact tracing. Now, don't worry, you guys will catch up. It'll be a while, but when you become a senior citizen, you'll think about this little speech I had. Okay, that's it. Thanks very much.
Hey, Robert. Hey. Let's start with Glenn this time. Glenn, what do you think?
Oh, excellent. It's great. One of the things you can use, you said the girls are all locked down, and they're hanging out with their special friend. Their special friend could be named Bob because Bob actually stands for battery operated boyfriend. So
really?
That term before, and
I like that. That's good.
And then you brought up something, but I'm just so tired I forgot what I was going to say. So, but the Bob thing, so that would be cool. It's been so long, and I loved how you become shareholders with Eveready or Duracell or something like that. That's great. And then also, I did have that neighbor when I was a kid. If you threw the ball over the fence. His name was Mr. Tots, and was like, I don't want to go ask him. I was the youngest, so I was always sent over there. Hey, you go get it, So
I think everybody had that neighbor.
yeah. So
get the hell out of my yard.
Yeah, exactly. But with the crosswalk thing, that's the same voice that where your wife says, you don't forget to put the seat down, take the trash out. When you start naming them off, you could say it that way. That's the same voice that comes from your, I forget the other ones that you said, but the same voice, and then go off with the same voice. Yeah, take the trash out, this and that. So
yeah,
that's my spiel on it. So
yeah.
I like that. Bob.
How about you, Lucia? Do you have anything?
Yeah, I got some feedback. So that was a really neat joke when your daughter said to you, "Daddy, can you spend less time with me?"
Yeah,
like that. It was really unexpected, and I thought that maybe you could
Stretch
spend
it out.
time there? Like compare her to your son, maybe, or but is she? But I didn't. I should have said that.
No, I was trying to like stretch out the suspense, but it's like,
Yeah.
and then hit them with the punchline, right? Because I mean, that's
Yeah.
COVID. Your kids are spending a lot of time with you.
Yeah.
Go to school,
Oh,
get in here, go to
okay.
school.
Wow, I hadn't considered COVID. Okay, right.
That's
So
what
you
it was
were
about.
talking about social distancing first with your son,
Well, I was
right?
talking about the pandemic. The
Okay.
pandemic. I started off
Yeah.
the pandemic and the
Yeah.
lockdown and everything.
Yeah, so I like that joke.
Well, thank you.
So I got a few other points. So when you mentioned something about if I wanted a professional blowjob, did you say something like that? Oh, okay, you didn't say that. Maybe you can say that.
I asked my Alexa if she could give me a blowjob, right? And she
Okay.
goes, Robert, that's not very professional. And I said, well, I don't want a professional blowjob. We can buy a tape and learn together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the joke.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
want something sloppy,
Because
buttoned
yeah,
down.
it's the whole idea about being a professional. That's all. Like, the
Yeah.
joke. I don't need a professional one. We can have something else, like.
Yeah, of course you
That-
don't need a professional one.
Well,
Uh,
debatable.
Okay, so
TMI.
yeah, I was just wondering, like, but you have a punchline there. I guess I was just trying to think of a tag for it,
For the
'cause, like,
professional blowjob?
yeah. Well, my account is empty, Alexa, so I couldn't pay you anyway. I don't know.
Oh, that's not bad.
Your wife sounds like your neighbor from the past.
Yeah.
I thought maybe you could acknowledge that. But what would it be like if you were to try a woman's voice? Have you ever? I'm sorry. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm sorry if this isn't coming across the right way.
No, that's funny. It's I like your perspective on it.
No, I was trying to imitate my wife as the mean neighbor that when you lose the ball over the fence, it's almost the same tone. Like, can you go get the morning paper? Like this, right?
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Before she has her morning cup of coffee, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, did I marry Beelzebub's sister or something? Like, who, this is not my wife,
Right.
like,
Yeah. Before 8 a.m., it sounds like she's smoked a pack of cigarettes already.
exactly. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. You broke up during the punchline about getting your ass eaten out. And I want to hear more about that.
Okay, so that was a spell check joke, right? Spell check always
Yeah.
changes what you text, right? So my wife texted me, "Can you get home soon, or I will lock your ass out?" And spell check changed that to "Get home soon, and I will lick your ass out." And so I broke a few speed records to get home. That was the joke. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess my net must suck because it keeps on, I don't know, breaking up. And although I haven't lost any connection lately, so that's good.
And lastly, I want to ask about the Tesla ordering its own parts. I guess what I want to ask is how come it can't take itself to the car wash? Maybe.
Well, I probably could.
Is that funny for a motorist? I'm not a motorist.
That is funny, actually, because if you think about it, what it takes to go through the car wash, you got to line up to that little track, and the guy flagging you down like the guy at the airport with an airplane, over here. So
yeah, it'd be so cool if you could just like program it to go to the.
If you ever been to the car wash, I don't know what you guys got.
Well, I was actually surprised that it's based on a true story about a Tesla which was pulled over for speeding in Alberta. And when the cop stopped the car and looked into the window, both seats were reclined and the people were sleeping.
Oh wow!
So the Tesla was driving itself and speeding.
Oh okay. Yeah. I guess I missed that.
No, yeah, I don't know, but so I sort of tagged that on to like, well, it has these qualities of being able to max out your credit card too,
Right. Yeah. I thought you could spend more time on that because if that's a possibility, then maybe it's something that people should be concerned about. Is it something we're going to hear on the news? It's like Frank's car ordered pizza for the office. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
something.
It'd be funny if your car ordered you an Uber because it didn't want you inside it anymore.
Well, that'd be funny.
Yeah, strong voice, good delivery.
Thank
Yeah.
you. You didn't think I went a little bit too far with the self-driving, like the racist stuff,
Yeah, actually, I was going to say that. My little thing here is that I
the
don't know.
racial stereotypes.
I don't think that would come across. I think it's just kind of going to waste your time going with it that route. But
Yeah.
I with it was kind of funny. But the
There be something new in there though. Like, I mean, I missed this. I don't even know what I'm talking about, but I just heard the word racist, right? So it's like,
No, I just said that there's going to be different self-driving cars. Like there's going to be a Korean car that stops at every corner and sets up a convenience store. You know, all the stupid old stereotypes.
oh, okay.
But they're dumb stereotypes, you know, and they're not done in harm. Like because I feel like I've made it like giving a human quality to an atom. That's personification, right? So I'm saying the cars could do this instead of like people do this. Like a Chinese car, you know, you fill it up and then half an hour later be hungry again, so you have to fill it up again. Like that's just a real common stereotype. That's all.
Yeah,
but
but
I feel like if people can't
already, like with the car, what you said.
Sorry?
Is that a joke already? Like with the car, what you said?
Yeah, self-driving cars, yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
He laughed. Glenn laughed every one of those.
I missed part of it.
It's comedy, man. I'm gonna use it anyhow because if people don't like it, I'm like, you came to a comedy show, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I agree with that one. Yay.
You shouldn't be offended. And besides that, I'm Asian. You know, I can make fun of my Asian
You're allowed. Like,
exactly.
Is this unspoken or something? That if you're big, you can make fun of big. If you're Asian, you can make fun of Asian. Going away from that as well.
I don't know if there's a law, but there's a sort of like well, I was looking at racial humor, right? And they were saying that you should never, this one article said you should never make fun of another race if you're not of that race, because you haven't walked in the shoes of that person. So I don't make fun of black people because I know nothing about the culture. You know, I make fun of Asian people because I know a lot about the culture.
Yeah.
And I don't feel there's any harm in it either. Some people like Keller, I think he finds it a little bit touchy. And it is for some audiences, but
I always behind jokes, if they're funny, they keep doing them. It doesn't matter if they're. I never follow racist stuff. Like to me, I talk about a lot of my family who's like mixed interculture. One thing I found I just found it was a little bit too generic. Like it's an old kind of stereotype about the corner stores.
Yeah.
And then that's the only thing I found. Like I was thinking like Kia, you already know it's South Korean car, so you could say things like it's self-driving, but it swerves at the dogs. It doesn't swerve around the dog. You can kind of take it. I'd like to see new angles with it. I don't mind the stuff.
Yeah.
I just find it was kind of a like already subjects people have kind of touched on a bit. Like going. I do understand what you mean with stopping everything else, stopping to set up a corner store and everything else. That it's I understand what that makes it, but I don't see how a Tesla could do that. But I did like it, like your self-driving stuff. The guy pulled over. Like I like the you're talking about ordering his own parts and everything, and that's something I started thinking too. When you could combine the Alexa and the Tesla joke. So if you want to use part of the Alexa stuff, like the blowjob, so it takes you to a place to get a blowjob, or suck my dick, Alexa, or whatever it is, or Tesla, and it takes you straight to a whorehouse or something. I don't know. I always like the different. I would like to see different angles with things. That's with that part, but I did like the most of it. Like it was pretty good. The stuff with the race, I just thought it was just too easy. Some of the things. I'm not saying anything about you can't do it. Go ahead and do whatever you want. It's not me caring, right? So, but the one thing I really liked was when you talk about you couldn't figure out Alexa, when you're going through that process, you're getting mad at it and everything else. I'd like to see kind of more of that, and I also like how you kept it kind of in theme with then the talking crosswalk stuff. I really like the way you said that, like, hey, you're good over here. Like, I mean, I really like that stuff. It's really funny the way you're saying it. I mean, had some good lines to kind of go through. I always have a problem with remembering what I'm going to say each time I'm saying something different. But
Mhm.
I like how you're going with it. It was pretty funny. So
Okay, good.
one vibrator thing I thought would be funny with the when you're talking about prison tats. I was like, okay, yeah, well, I was like thinking, okay, yeah, it's got a teardrop on one ball. It's like, I just thought it was funny, but like that tear. Anyways, I have to explain it's not funny, but it's like,
Yeah, no, I get it. The teardrop, yeah.
yeah. No, I liked it. I liked how you kind of keep with theme for the whole thing there. So it was pretty good. I think some things like with the vibrator stuff, I just feel like it's maybe somebody else's subject and not so much yours. Like, I mean, like, it's like, I know you're telling about it and everything else, but I almost feel like it be handled by someone that people want to, like, I find that myself. I'm almost 46 and people really don't want to hear me talk about some subjects, some things. I've learned that over the time I've done it. And I got to keep kind of my wheelhouse sometimes. And I don't try to put myself into someone's shoes, like you said. But anyways, it's not a big deal. I'm not trying to critique you or anything. I'm just trying to.
No, it makes sense. But I don't know. I think the older I get, the less caring I get. Like if they don't like it, they're at a comedy show. They didn't pay for it.
Yeah, I know.
Here's the bus. Bye bye.
Yeah.
I'm not there to please everybody. I can't please everybody. I find if I start censoring myself, I'm not even going to write any comedy.
Yeah.
Like I'll go, oh, is that offensive? Oh, I won't do this one. Oh, is that offensive? Oh, I won't do this one. I'm just like, I know it's good to have like an antenna and realize what works and doesn't work, but I also feel like I'm not going to censor myself.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I'm not trying to say that. Here's Eric Stolwin, who's watching, said it really well. Good comedians can make fun of everything, right? And that's the thing. Like, as long as it's a good joke, and I've always said that too. If things work well and they're like going through, you can say whatever you want to, right? So, but yeah, no, I think you did a good job, Robert. Way to go.
okay, thank you.
Progressed since I've seen you last, so good job. So let's give a round of applause for Robert, everybody. Hey,
All right.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to this next comedian, all the way from Victoria. We've seen her once. Let's see her again. Lucia Ribeiro, everybody.
Okay, thanks very much for having me. It's fun to be with you guys and try to generate some laughs. So deep down in the secret thought compartment, I still wonder, even after all this time, is this real or is this theater? I know. I wear a face covering outside because I'm overweight, but I've had over a year of suppressing thoughts of wanting to punch unmasked overweight people in the face. I'm holding myself back. I know I shouldn't be thinking that. I crinkle my eyes instead. Since we can't see smiles anymore, I fake what I'm not feeling. And thank God for the mask covering my face. When I'm quiet and imagining how I will conquer the world, I imagine that people I went to school with are trailing along behind me, wanting to interview me, ask me questions, figure out my secrets to success. The only thing I'm successful at is walking fast. And that's how I can outrun them. My face, though, not so successful. I look sad usually, and homeless people tell me to smile as if they've got it figured out. Cheer up, they say. Tomorrow will be a better day. One time when I was downtown, a man pointed to the ground and he said to me, I found your smile. Do you want to pick it up? I bent down to pick it up, but it turned into this on the way back. That didn't make him smile. I miss those times, as inappropriate as they may be. Getting older and caring less is as inversely proportional as a mini skirt is on an overweight woman. It seems that the larger the woman, the smaller her skirt is. Hey, I'm just sharing parts of my life. For now, you can just shush while I'm on stage. So she's got tiny skirt confidence. I've got shut up and be invisible upbringing. So who wins this one? Who's the bigger victim now? Oh, I didn't mean it that way. Bigger victim. I meant, as I age, the bigger my problems are, the less time I spend thinking about them. I don't believe I can fix my problems. That's why they're called problems. They stay. They would be called something else. it would just be called fixables. Oh, I've got some fixables in my life. I should get rid of them in a couple of weeks, you know, easy fixables. Problems, not so much. But as the kids say these days, it's all good. Some of them are on autopilot when they say it. Comes so naturally to them. I can't stand the saying. And sometimes if I promote it enough, I notice when they don't say it. And that's cool. They're remembering me, like we're all remembering with pronouns these days. I heard about a study that was done about conversation. It was 67% of conversations go on longer than the participants want them to. And I think the reason for this is because nobody wants to give anybody else the last word. Nobody wants to be anybody else's bitch. I'm not going around asking these questions. I just, you know, make observations without any peer review. And then I share my math and science with complete strangers online. I'm always the first one to break up a conversation, it seems. People see me walking toward them and they stop talking. I don't have the knack for conversation and I feel bad, like I should be more generous with my time. Let it flow. I also see this going on at the grocery store, the small talk that goes on between the clerk and the customer, back and forth, even while the customer is walking away to the 67 percentile category of conversations going on too long, like this routine. The clerk is still not letting the customer have the last word. It almost brings me to the point of tears. The customer isn't always right, but just give them the last word. So that's enough for me.
Hey, round of applause to Lucy. Oh, good job. Glenn, would you like to go first?
Sure. Yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, quite honestly, I'm really tired. So I kind of lost track, and but it was a good delivery. Is you know,
yeah, I've got a radio voice that puts you to sleep.
Yeah, the whole we're getting older thing and we don't care anymore. It's like, yeah, you get to a point in your life where you could probably say, well, you get to there's a point, the phase where you worry about what everyone thinks of you. That's high school and all that bullshit. And then as you get older, you get to a point where you really don't care what people think anymore. So maybe something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And like maybe there's like older people who do still spend a lot of time thinking about, you know, stuff that's really not important.
Mm-hmm.
All kinds of different people.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's all I got on it. So
thank you.
Uh-huh.
How about you, Robert? Do you have anything for Alicia?
You better.
I got to tell you, I like the finger one. That was good. When you
yeah. It's great when it writes itself. You know, when it actually, it wrote itself. It didn't happen like that. I wrote that up.
Yeah, and that's a good thing about comedy.
I don't
know. You know what's really hard is knowing your audience. You know, like if you like wordplay, you like puns, you like entomology, but your audience is dumbasses. Your audiences are dumbasses usually, you know, and they're also half drunk. So puns and all this stuff doesn't work a lot of times. And I find that, you know, and it's frustrating to me as a comic too, because I don't want to go down to the talking about farts and shit and all this lowbrow humor. I want to do the highbrow stuff with puns and observations and stuff like that. So I think your humor would work well, like in front of an intellectual crowd, you know, because
I don't know. I'm not a very confident person. I don't know about being around people like that. Like,
you're kind of like James Thurber,
we need to break the ice. We have not broken the ice yet, if it's possible to say that. But I want to tell you, and it's like we're not supposed to tell people that they look like other people, but you remind me, you've been told this before, the character from Hawaii Five-0, right?
I've never been told any. No.
Right? No.
No.
Like the original, I think. Yeah.
Oh, like Jack, what's his name? The Chinese guy?
Maybe. And like,
Like-
is that racist of me to say this about you? But it's
No,
like
people confuse me for Hawaiian, Samoan, Eskimo, Native, whatever whatever their fantasy
yeah.
happens to be. I mean, I don't know. I'm multicultural, right? I'm half British and half Asian, so it's like
Yeah. It would be
know.
neat though to like from with your routine, it would be interesting to hear more stories about how people, misunderstand you. Because it's like I think white people always want to know about how dumb they are.
Yeah.
Please
Well, I
tell
don't
me.
know about that either. I had a whole routine about how dumb white people are, and it
There you go.
went over like a rock. It was just awful.
Oh.
Yeah. So it depends. The audience, the comedy. I'm not trying to lecture anything, but comedy is so fickle. It's a fickle, animal. Like it depends on whether people are laughing. It depends on whether they're having a good time, whether they had a good week, whether they woke up with their morning cup of coffee, whether they're willing to accept you as a comedian. There's just so many factors.
Yeah, sure. It's tough.
It's tough because.
But what's really great though is when you're on stage and like you're in a moment and something happens that you didn't know. So you say something that you didn't know you would say, right? And it's like something new.
But I find like it usually takes
about me right now. This should be just about me, actually.
It's about you. Well, I did say about you, right? Didn't I say like you'd perform better in front of a intellectual crowd? I mean,
yeah, that was surprising to hear. I'll keep it in mind.
I don't think the bar crowd is going to get all your humor because it's like you're writing. I mean, I'm not. It's kind of like an essay, like a humorist. Like James Thurber. James Thurber. He wrote like funny essays. So
yeah,
it's like essay in a way instead of a conversation with punchlines.
Yeah,
and it's not because your voice is boring. It's not that. It's just that your style is
needed more jokes.
It's dry. That's all. It's dry humor. It doesn't like I just out of a real aside. I did a show one time and it was in the uppity part of Broadway, and I had no response. I took the same material. I'm like, is it me or is it the material? Or is it the audience? So I took the same material, went down to the Lower East Side, and it hit. Like everybody was laughing. Before that, I didn't change the material or anything. It just depends on the audience. Really.
Yeah.
That's my.
Yeah, we get good exposure here in Victoria. Different rooms, different places to go to. It's a good scene. It's starting up again.
Do you have where would I go if I went there? Like the comedy
Victoria. Well, there's the Victoria Stand-Up Comedy Group on Facebook, so that's a way to find out. And then there's the Mint on Wednesday nights at a restaurant called the Mint. That's one of the better shows in town. There's also Queer Dog at the Vicious Poodle on Johnson. That's a really cool. That's a really cool show. There's Sonero. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. A New Mexican restaurant on Yates Street. They're having their bi-weekly open mic tomorrow night. 15. Nice. If you're in town, drop by.
Let's steer this back, as we call it. I actually like a lot of your stuff there. I do agree with Robert. You had a lot of statements with not a lot of endings to some of the statements, but I did like a lot of your stuff. Like I like that middle finger thing we were talking about. I think it'd almost be a good short video or something like that, going through it and like seeing yourself come right up like this. Like I think you can actually like some hit. I think it's a good joke too. But when you run like dry of it, you're done with it. Maybe make it as a skit and put it up there. I think it'd be pretty funny that way. I like you talked about the fixables. I think that was kind of maybe off. Like, did you just throw that out there by?
I threw that out. Yeah, I recorded it too. Oh no, I'm still recording. Yeah.
I like the fixable stuff. It sounded like what like doctors would call or nurses would call like meds to like kids and children or something like that.
That's great.
Yeah, I just thought that was kind of in mind.
Fixables.
I like your stuff about no one gives the last word. I think I would take it differently. I don't remember how I would take it now, but I think that it was started to get a little more drawn out a bit more there, and wasn't enough like maybe punchlines through that portion.
Yeah.
But I did like the premise a lot.
Yeah, it's like I was reading your mind
Yeah, and I like
because I
what you said
referenced how it was. Go
when
on.
you and Rob with intellectual. One thing I really liked was when you said that I'm not the confident type or something like that. It's I don't know. It just seems like something you can go into. You seem very natural with that sort of part when you said that. So I always like to see someone's inner side of them. So I know if you want to go that route or whatever it
You
is.
mean
But
are you saying I speak sincerely about having low self-esteem?
yeah, I liked it. Yeah, I like that part.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I would maybe try to write some jokes to her that way because it's the real you. It's your perspective, then, and it's something kind of interesting in some people's eyes, right? So
Okay, thank you so much.
yeah, but I think you did a good job. So let's give another round of applause for Lucy, everybody. Way to go. Okay, everybody, our final comedian of the night is is still in bed. He's ready for this to be over. So, hands together for Glenn Sass, everybody.
Woo!
Glenn.
Thank you very much. Yeah, like I was talking about earlier, I did a show recently for the Sharp Healthcare Foundation, and I was really seriously thinking about what kind of jokes do you tell to a cancer foundation or a healthcare foundation. And it's like, do I share my jokes about how I watched the movie Outbreak during our outbreak, or how I had a couple of Coronas during the Corona Extra virus, or the one about no toilet paper and people fighting in the at Walmart over it, and the hand bidet, Well, all of that is true. I did watch the movie Outbreak, and I did have a couple of Coronas during the Corona Extra virus, but I never thought I'd see the day where we couldn't buy toilet paper. It's like all of a sudden people were afraid that they were going to be able to perform proper anal hygiene anymore by wiping their butts. So, yeah, and people were fighting for it over in the aisles at Walmart. I went to Costco and there was a huge line and you couldn't get it there. It was like you're searching for gold. It's like, but so back to my dilemma, I just couldn't figure out what I wanted to tell what kind of jokes you tell at a healthcare foundation. And so I thought I'll just share my story because I am a cancer survivor. From age 4 to 11 is when they radiated my brains and irrigated my veins. I remember I used to go to the lab so many times when I was a kid, and they would stick me so many times. I'd have track marks. If you played Connect the Dots, you could probably paint the Mona Lisa or the 16th Chapel on my arm, or even that one painting, the Scream, the one with the guy going, ah! Quite honestly, that should be in every doctor's office, that Scream, ah! Because everyone goes to the doctor's office like, ah, no needles, ah, it's minor surgery, ah. So, but some of the treatments I had when I was young, and it's unbearable. I'm not making fun of cancer. I'm just making fun of myself. So no, it's a horrible disease. Don't get me wrong. I cut my hair like this to support people. So. Because I've been there, done that. I remember when I was a kid, your hair was falling out. You were like the village idiot, you look like a pumpkin hair freak, and you had bullies and stuff. Back then in the 70s, we didn't have a zero tolerance. If you had a bully, you either got your butt kicked or you're kicking butt. Well, thank goodness for the drug prednisone, because prednisone not only turned you into a champion prize fighter, it made you very irritable. It also made you eat like a stoner. So, and when bullies would come around to me, they'd be afraid of me because I just given much back to them as they could. I'd like, ah, and they're like, okay, we'll leave you alone. And then I could also put away a strawberry pie and mosh it down with lemonade. So all in one setting. That's what prednisone did to you. But also some other things that kind of happen when you go through that type of treatment is you develop learning disabilities. At least for me, they radiated my brains, like I said, and they also radiated my boys. So I can't have any more kids, which is a good thing. I don't think anyone else wants more of me running around. So, but part of another thing is they have you learning disabilities. You develop learning disabilities, and one of the things they said that I was slow. Well, I guess they got that one right because I've been wanting to do comedy my whole life. I started about 3 years ago. So. And as Robert mentioned that I laughed at all the racial slurs that he did. Well, that's because I grew up with the greats like Robin Williams, Richard Pryor, George Carlin. All those guys are like, so totally not PC. That's what was great about the 70s. We didn't have, so, but yeah, so. That's my story, and that's what I shared with the Healthcare Foundation. It's like, so that's it.
Thank you, Glenn Sauce. Everybody, round of applause. Yay! I like your toilet paper stuff, but one thing I really wanted to see was I was waiting for it because I thought it'd be funny in my mind if you talked about like all these people hoarding toilet paper and just going, yeah, I still have a stash, like tons of it, like maybe
that's a good idea.
It just would be a funny twist to that sort of thing. And you mentioned bidet sort of thing. I thought you were going to go that way too. I got a bidet at the start too myself. It's been quite the
experience. I was trying to remember it, most of it off the top of my head, and I kind of forgot it. But now I'm it's like it was the joke was actually well, thank goodness because there was no toilet paper. Thank goodness for the shower wand. Because with the right turbo setting, it gets everything clean in between, if you know what I mean. So.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You said something with radiated brains and something veins. Is that what you said?
Oh, back then is when they radiated my brains and irrigated my veins.
Brains, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty funny. It was a good line. So.
It's true. I would come out of the lab and like Band-Aid here, Band-Aid here, Band-Aid here, Band-Aid here. It's like I was looking like a kid that was doing heroin. So had so many track marks.
That one thing you had I really liked too is I missed it a bit was you were talking about the screaming in the hospital or the doctor's office. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, sometimes I try to formulate things and what comes out is like Swiss cheese is full of holes.
I think he's talking about the
when I was doing the lab joke, I said I had so many track marks. If you played connect the dots, you could probably paint the Mona Lisa, Sixtine Chapel, or the Scream painting. We've all seen it with the psychedelic background, the guy going, oh.
Yeah.
So I just had the sound effect. Ah! So, but
think about those Halloween. You ever go like the Halloween stores and they got all those like robotics?
Mm-hmm.
They jump out screaming.
Yeah.
I'd like to see one of those at a doctor's office. That'd be.
Yeah. There you go.
She's screaming all the time, just scaring the people out there, especially if you want to retire as a doctor. So. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You also did a bully, and you did the same voice, like the bully when you're facing the bully. I thought you got callback, or you just learned from the hospital doctor's office. So, but yeah, it's. But no, it was a good job. Way to go. So.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. How about you, Lucia? Do you have anything?
Yeah, I got a couple of things. You mentioned hand bidet. It's just a bidet operated by hand. Is that?
Oh, I kind of flubbered that joke. Like I said, do I tell the joke about there was no toilet paper, people fighting at Walmart, and that went into the I can't believe I never saw the time where I couldn't find toilet paper. Thank goodness for thank goodness for the shower wand, because that's like a bidet in your hands. With the right turbo setting, you can clean everything in between, if you know what I mean. So
yeah.
Yeah,
So
makes sense.
Yeah, that's a nice spray.
Yeah.
What is that? A handheld? Is that a handheld?
I don't know about you guys, but over here in the States, we were running out of toilet paper.
Yeah.
and Lysol. You couldn't find that on or paper towels. You know,
Right.
it's like
Yeah.
even though our media was saying there's not going to be a shortage, but still people were hoarding it. So
Yeah, just so you know, when that happened, I just dragged my ass along the ground like a dog. That's just,
yeah, they.
So I think it's well, not crazy, but it's strange to me that you've never fantasized about the possibility of running out of toilet paper. Like, don't you care about your butt? Don't you worry about it doing embarrassing things?
that's what you have the shower for.
Yeah, there you go. So
Yeah. Oh, there was that part about men who were like pooping in the shower. That was a thing for a while. Maybe that was pre-pandemic.
yeah.
Mixed in now.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't poop in the shower. At least I don't have to try to.
Testing. Another thing, you mentioned you can't have any more kids, but you had cancer from 4 to 11. So when did you have your kids? When you were like 9 or 10?
Oh, I meant to say, that since they fried my boys, I can't have kids. Thank goodness you don't want any more of me running around. So I've never had any kids. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
So, yeah. Need to work on it, polish it up a little bit.
Yeah, it's tough. It's always tough to to target your comedy to a specific audience. Like you got you got an audience of doctors. So how do you make it funny, right? And how do you not be? And then you worry about being too offensive, right? Because there might be some, people that are too touchy in that audience. So I think you did the right thing by using yourself as a target. Like kind of like self-deprecating humor. You might add like the fact that the Scream, remember that Scream? You said the Scream painting in the office.
Yeah.
That you could say that was a patient that just found out what the medical cost was.
Right.
Just add that as a tag.
Oh yeah.
Or the thing with the thing about lack of toilet paper. I don't know how many people see. Every time I refer something, no one knows what the fuck I'm talking about. Like if I talk about Star Trek, people don't get it because the millennials in the audience that haven't even seen Star Trek, the old Star Trek, right? Mm-hmm. So I was thinking like Pandemic is kind of like an episode from the Twilight Zone, right?
Oh yeah.
Pandemic, like everybody's walking like zombies, people wearing masks, all places are closed, everything looks like a ghost town. It's just like an episode from the Twilight Zone. But like running out of toilet paper is like the episode from the Twilight Zone. Like everybody's like, running around like pulling their hair out. Oh fuck, we don't got any toilet paper. Like this, like people running around with the chicken. That what's that? The one with the thing with fell from the sky and the chickens go. Ah! Like everybody's losing their minds, right? Because they don't have any toilet paper.
It sounds like the movie The Birds.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's like
Chicken Little.
Chicken
Little. That was afraid the sky would fall.
Chicken Little, that's it.
Chicken Little, yeah.
So that could be, that whole thing with toilet paper. The fact that, I made a joke about how when you line up, everybody had to line up to get into a grocery store, right? Like sometimes you wait for hours, not an hour, but you sometimes wait for at least an hour to get into a grocery store, right? And then then I saw these senior citizens were arguing about who was first in line. I'm like, well, what are you guys going to do? Step outside and decide it out there, because you're already waited out, like you wouldn't, that's one thing you wouldn't hear in a grocery store. Hey man, do you want to step outside? Because you already waited an hour to get inside. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So you're not going to step outside in the parking lot and solve your issues. So I don't know. Those are just things you can add to it. I liked it though. I thought it was good. It's always good to hear a survivor story. I think it's endearing. It's like, good on you, man. Like that's a hard thing to be dealt with when you're a kid.
And all of it is drawn from true experience.
Yeah, you made it through, and you kept your sense of humor, and it's all.
Yeah, I did have bullies, but because I was on that prednisone, I don't recall this, but they said somebody gave me boxing gloves, and I tried to beat up my grandmother.
Holy
But
shit.
being from the Mexican family, she was just an equal opponent. She'd hit you with a chancla. So, I hit you with a chancla.
What's
And
a
the most
chocolate?
frightening word she would say to you is like, "I tell your mama." So, but
What is
yeah,
chocolate?
so huh? Chocolate is a shoe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, yeah, I should reference that, but
Or maybe your grandma was into that lucha. Was it a lucha wrestling or something like that?
oh yeah, she was, yeah, but
Like maybe
yeah,
she's a cool lucha wrestler, so you had to do a couple rounds in the ring with her, And then,
yeah, I
I
was
don't know.
I
I'm
was
just
very irritable on that drug, and so when bullies and stuff, when I'm walking home from school or whatnot, I would just like, and they're like, "Oh, okay," So,
yeah. Well, that's sometimes all it takes.
yeah, so
There you go.
Yeah, medication. Sometimes they give you a grimace if that's
Mhm.
what's going on with your prednisone.
They still do. So,
Okay, there you go.
but yeah, thank you. That was a good ideas and stuff to throw in there.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what's good about this workshop is you can use all this stuff.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear more jokes. If I was to roast you or something like that, I'd be thinking about jokes talking about how you can't have kids, like you don't your sperm is glowing fluorescent green sort of thing, or something like towards that way because all the radiation.
Oh, one of the jokes I have about that is like, yeah, I can't have kids. I'm like, that's okay because kids are a lot of work. I mean, I literally raised my nephew when I was a kid, or when I was younger, a teenager, because my brother knocked up his girlfriend in high school, right? And when I was growing up, my mom, I always heard, oh, you wouldn't understand because you were the youngest, right? I understand perfectly what my mom was talking about when he was talking to his girlfriend on the phone. Oh, how far along are you? I'm like, oh yeah, he knocked her up. So, so I understood. So,
Here's a good.
thank goodness, dogs. I have dogs, and dogs are great, and dogs are even better than children because you can leave the dogs at home and not have any problems with, child protective services. They don't have dog protective services. Or anything like that. The only thing you gotta worry about is the dog destroying your house, but get
the small ones.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So
Here's a good note from Eric Pillowin. I feel like, ironically enough, the specific is general. The more specific you are about yourself, the more likely people are to be able to relate to it in their own way. Seems paradoxical, but don't underestimate the audience capacity for empathy. They may reward you for it. So,
Ooh, sounds like a fortune cookie.
yeah, exactly.
Wow.
A very verbose one.
Giant fortune cookie. That's a good
one
note.
of the jokes, my self deprecation jokes, however you say it. When we did about my first show was back in 2019, right before COVID, and one of my jokes that was part of the cancer thing was the disability thing, and said one of the things they also told me that I had problem with my comprehension. Oh, I don't know. I didn't know what they were talking about, anyways, and that was a good laugh. So
Yeah.
You could say something like, after so much radiation to my balls, right? I didn't need those glow in the dark condoms, but I didn't even need them anyhow because my balls weren't working my boys weren't working anyhow, right? Or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something to do with the glow in the dark thing.
Yeah. That's a good idea too.
Your lucky number, as Eric says, it's a good joke. Your lucky numbers are 7, 15, 22, 27, 34, and 41, which is the back of fortune cookies. That's what he's making the joke about. So,
Oh,
cool. I was going to memorize them and try to play them in the lottery.
Yeah, I was going to write those down.
Yeah, those are my keynote notes for tomorrow. Anyways, I think that was pretty good. Thanks. Another round of applause for Glenn Cius, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. It's always fun doing these workshops.
Yeah, fun time.
So this
Yeah,
is
nice to meet you guys. Nice to meet you guys. Great to hear your routines. Thank you.
Robert, where can we find you next little while, buddy?
Well, I have a show if you're in Vancouver, an outdoor show on Friday nights at Trout Lake from 6:30 to 8:30. I'm on Facebook, Robert Maw. Just Google it or whatever you have to do. I don't know how to get on Facebook. And I guess at Maw Killer, MAHKILLA for my Instagram. Like that's my gamer tag when I used to play games.
Pseudonym. Your pseudonym.
My pseudonym, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Lucia, where can we find you?
On Twitter, I tweet only occasionally, very sporadically. On Twitter, I'm Lucia_Muse.
Muse. Cool. Okay, awesome. You got any shows coming up, Lucia? Nothing like that or what?
June 21st, I'll be at Queer Dog at the Vicious Poodle on Johnson. The show starts at 7. It's free admission, but limited seating. And then at the end, it's like a, pay what you can if you can. It's a good show. It used to be on before pandemic, and now it's coming back.
Awesome.
So I'm going to be in. Looking forward to being on stage again.
Oh, real. How about you, Glenn? Jude next little while.
Well, I have my first show on Facebook. I also have it on YouTube, and my email is carpevino@gmail.com. If anyone wanted to email me, I don't know if we'd making any trips over to Canada anytime soon, but maybe when you guys open up again. I've always wanted to see Canada, so here you guys have good weed, so.
BC Bud.
So, but yeah, that's where I'm at. YouTube and Facebook basically.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, my name's Keller Reeves, as you guys know. My social media is Keller J Reeves on anything, pretty much. I don't spend a lot of time on social media anymore. I have been hitting Twitter just for some quick one-liner jokes to see how they work, but I'm pretty much staying off social media. But you can find me here every Monday night. Basically, I'm the host on Monday nights, so you can find me. You can catch me all the time, trying new stuff, doing this same workshop. It's a great thing. I got 2 shows, my first 2 shows coming up. Canada's opening up, and I got a show this Friday night in Chilliwack at Tractor Grease. Also limited seating. It's a great venue. If you're this way, of course you're not, so it's no big deal. I'm also in Vancouver on the 22nd at King's Head Comedy. And yeah, it's pretty much everything's starting to get a little more ramped up. I'm excited about being on stage again. It'll be fun. So,
all right.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for being on the show.
Yep.
We had a great time. Let's end the broadcast and let everybody else get on with their lives. So thank you very much. Let's everybody